Okay, Episode 1. This story starts with Takana Ayumu and Yaotome Urushi, the only members of their school's Shogi club. Urushi was the only member in the beginning until Ayumu rolled around and asked to be the second member. But Ayumu never really fancied Shogi until he met Urushi. Ayumu actually has a huge crush on Urushi, which is why he joined the Shogi club in the first place. The only problem Ayumu faces now is that he has decided to ask Urushi to be his girlfriend only when he successfully beats her in a game of Shogi. He constantly makes Urushi blush with his remarks. The only problem with this brazen young man is that he is too stubborn. If I had been that confident, I would have asked Urushi on a date a long time ago instead of spending hours toiling away at a game of boring Shogi. No offense to the Shogi fanatics watching this video. Anyway, in Episode 1, Ayumu accuses Urushi of having a crush on her after he calls her cute. But when Ayumu does not respond to her accusation, she tells him that if he admits to having a crush on her, she will bless him with a hug. Well, poker-faced Ayumu does like Urushi, but he won't admit it until he beats her in a game of Shogi. On the other side, Urushi enjoys getting compliments from Ayumu, who she thinks is handsome, and looks forward to their time in the club together. One day, Urushi learns that Ayumu got an invitation to join the Kendo club, so she becomes sad and concerned because her underclassmen may abandon her Shogi club and join the Kendo team. This does not happen, however, because Ayumu assures Urushi that he will not leave the club because being in it with her makes him happy. Having said that, the Shogi club is not an official club because it only has 2 members, and it requires 4 members to be considered official. So Urushi desperately needs new members to join, but Ayumu doesn't want anyone intruding on his private romantic time with Urushi. Well, what can I say? Love breeds jealousy, doesn't it? Anyway, the next day, Ayumu finds a sulky, cute Urushi who hates PE classes. We all hate PE, but that is understandable. She complains about her athletic abilities, and Ayumu compliments her by saying that in the real world, she wouldn't need any athletic abilities because she is cute, perfect, his dream girl, and a bunch of other cheeky things that can't possibly fit into this recap. Urushi's reactions to these compliments were, well, see for yourself. Moving on, after school, Ayumu offers to walk Urushi home under his umbrella because it is raining. Urushi agrees that they stroll down to her house under the mistlet. Sorry, the umbrella. Ayumu expresses his joy at walking home with her, and Urushi, whose face appears to be irreparably red, offers that they can walk home together again because it makes Ayumu so happy. Episode 2. In Episode 2, Ayumu and Urushi end up on the same team for their school sports day. This here is Maki, Urushi's friend. Maki, like the rest of us, notices Urushi's growing feelings for Ayumu and teases her throughout the episode. And these are Takeru and Sakuroko, Ayumu's childhood friends who are both cheeky and hilarious in their own way. In this episode, Ayumu's athletic ability helps his team win multiple points in their competition. Other members of his team see this, so they decide to invite him to join the track's club. Well, Ayumu would have declined anyway, but Urushi declines for him, explaining that Ayumu was already a member of the Shogi club. But just as I guessed, nobody in the school except these two is actually aware of the Shogi club. So Urushi gets saddened by the fact that nobody knows anything about her club, which leads Ayumu to promise to win multiple points in the competition so he can tell people about the Shogi club. But Ayumu and Urushi's plan to publicize their club fails at first because Urushi truly does lack athletic ability. Their team trailed behind others until the final relay race, in which the white team decided to make Ayumu their anchor. Ayumu then keeps his promise to Urushi by becoming the fastest anchor on that track. The school then adds a new challenge to the relay race by asking the anchors to participate in a scavenger hunt. Maki then teases Urushi that the hunt may instruct the anchors to go get their crush, and Ayumu might just come over to get her. And, as the manga author would have it, Ayumu checks his paper and then sprints over to Urushi. He takes her in his arms and crosses the finish line first. However, Ayumu's paper actually stated that he should bring an adorable object, and Ayumu chose to bring Urushi because he believes she is an adorable object. Urushi turned bright red all over, and the white team won their sports day competitions. Okay, these guys. They both have feelings for each other. One uses hypnosis on the other, and the other cannot get over how cute the other is. I hope that makes sense. Ayumu approaches Takaru to join the Shogi club for Urushi's sake, and Takaru reluctantly agrees, but he settles to be a ghost club member. Ayumu is pleased with the ghost member status because he can still cherish quality time with Urushi. He informs Urushi, who grins from ear to ear, making him lose consciousness midway because she just looks too cute when she smiles. Urushi then adds that they still need one more member to make it an official club, but Ayumu is uncomfortable with having more members because he really can't stand someone else taking his precious senpai away from him. Episode 3. In the next episode, Urushi shows up at the club with a different hairstyle, which makes her look even cuter. Ayumu notices this at first glance, but says nothing about it. Urushi, enjoying all of Ayumu's attention and compliments, then decides to swing her hair around so she can receive yet another remark from him that would make her blush. Ayumu notices her movements and decides to give her what she wants. He compliments her hair and calls her cute. Urushi, of course, gets embarrassed again, and they are about to continue their daily cheeky routine when ghost member Takaru walks in and announces himself. Takaru plays his first game of shogi with Urushi, and Urushi compliments the sound he makes with the shogi board, which makes Ayumu really jealous. Sakurako later comes in and interrupts their game by hypnotizing Takaru and dragging him back to the library to be with her. In the library, Sakurako tells Takaru not to get in the way of Ayumu's love for Urushi because Ayumu was antisocial until he met Urushi. Well, putting aside Ayumu's relationship with Urushi, these two actually have a pretty decent connection, seeing that they both enjoy each other's company and they both have feelings for each other. A few days later, their school festival is just around the corner, so Ayumu asks Urushi out on a date to go around the school festival with him. On the day of the school festival, Ayumu confesses that this is his first date, so Urushi tells him to let her take the lead on their date. But during their date, Maki approaches them and announces that she is happy to see Urushi on her first ever date. Urushi breaks down and confesses that yes, like Ayumu, this was her first date. During the festival, they participate in multiple activities, and Ayumu is overjoyed to be on a date with his senpai. After the date, Ayumu asks Urushi what her favorite part of the date was because he wants to use it as a reference for their next date at the next school festival the following year. Urushi replies that the entire date was memorable, but her favorite would be playing shogi with Ayumu. Ayumu then asks Urushi to call him by his first name, moving forward so he can experience joy every time she calls him by his first name. Japanese culture can be quite cringeworthy at times. Episode 4. Anyway, the last episode in this part of our recap brought these two lovebirds together by December. They shared romantic and hilarious moments in the small storeroom they used as their club location. They were going home for the winter break, so they cleaned up their club room and found a TV and a DVD player. Urushi is pleased to have a TV in the club room, so she asks Ayumu if there is anything they could watch, to which Ayumu responds that there is, but it is something she might not feel comfortable watching. Urushi then thinks that Ayumu might be hiding a sus adult content show. Sus as in hentai. Yes, I know, that's what you had in mind too. Anyway, Ayumu did not have a hentai disc with him, but it was some very embarrassing zombie show with a rather disturbing cover. Ayumu, that is not worth hiding. Stop misleading that innocent girl. Moving on. On the last day of school, Urushi decides to give Ayumu a handicap in shogi so he can have his first win against her. He wins against her for the first time, but he is dissatisfied with the outcome because he was given a handicap in the first place. Ayumu then asks if Urushi has any plans for Christmas, and Urushi realizes that Ayumu might be trying to ask her out for Christmas because he won against her. Although that is true, Ayumu loses his confidence in asking her out and decides against it until he has his first real win. On their way home, Ayumu confesses to Urushi that he wants to get good enough so he can win against her in a fair game. They say their goodbyes before the holidays, and Ayumu is very disappointed in himself for not having the courage to tell her how he truly feels about her. At New Year, Urushi and Maki come across Ayumu at the shrine, who confesses to having stayed behind while his friends left so he could see Urushi. They pray and make their offerings together, and Urushi is shocked to see Ayumu offered up a printed note to the shrine instead of a coin. She then asks him why he offered so much, and Ayumu tells her that his prayer was to make sure her wish came true, and he was ready to make her wish come true no matter what. He did this knowing that Urushi's prayer would have been to make their club an official club. What a simp. The right kind of simp, though. Anyway, that's it, guys. The first part of the recap is over. Please give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to keep up with our bi-weekly releases. Also, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and share this video with your friends.